Goodness. Why'd you want to come 3 times? I do. I do. I change it all the time. Because it's coming from my head and through, spirit, basically, and channeled through my head. And because I've been doing this so long, and I've seen so many people, and I've seen how the body breaks down, I'm very familiar with it, and I've seen how the body recovers even better, I can just do it without a script and it just comes out, basically. So what I'm going to talk about here today, and what I've talked about here for the last 3 days, is number 1, how the body breaks down, and number 2, how simple. I really want to emphasize this, how simple and how easy it is to recover. I get letters that are so heartbreaking, I literally cry when I read them sometimes, because the way the things that can happen to us are so tragic, number 1, and so unnecessary, number 2. And that's why I travel all over the country. That's why I do my radio show. That's why I do other people's radio shows. I come here on my nickel, because it is my mission in life to tell you guys and tell everybody I speak to how simple and how easy it can be to be healthy and how to be strong. And it has your diagnosis, and it has nothing to do with the name of your illness. It just has to do with the simple, basic components of the body, how the body breaks down, just like how your car breaks down. It doesn't matter the name or the specific terminology you want to give it. The breakdown is generic and it's simple and easy to understand as understanding your plumbing, because it is all plumbing, basically. And what I mean by that is the body is composed of parts, which in turn are composed of little tiny entities called cells. I'm going to explain all this here in a minute, but just to give you a little overview, the body is composed of parts, and those parts are composed of cells. When we are sick, the parts don't work because the cells are dying, period. That's it. And you can call it dementia if it's in your brain. You can call it liver disease if it's in your liver. You can call it osteoporosis if it's in your bones. You can call it psoriasis if it's in your skin. But at the end of the day, all it is that the tissues aren't working because the cells are dying, period. Then we got to just ask, why are the cells dying? What is it that the cells are missing that's causing them first slowly to break down and then ultimately to die? And it's as simple as that. And you figure it out and you remove the problem. You put some stuff in that helps the body repair itself, and that's it. And the medical model either doesn't know it or doesn't want us to know it. Because what we've done is we've turned medicine into a commodity. We've turned our health into a business. We've turned our well-being into finances and economics. And it is so nasty. It is so unfair, because at the other end of the economics is human beings. And human beings that are suffering. And human beings that are in pain, and human beings that are watching their loved ones suffer, and loved ones in pain. And so the most important message I could tell you here today is do not be bamboozled by complexity, and do not marginalize simplicity. Do not be dismissive of the simplicity of these ideas. Now, I only have about an hour, so I was thinking to myself, how can I make this? I always try to make it simple, but I'm going to make it extra simple, uber simple, super simple. So we can all understand it, and we can all take it home with us and share it with our friends and our loved ones. Okay, so these days I got to write things down. So I took down some notes here. First thing, most important, I always like to start my talks with this. Who remembers SMEP? Remember SMEP? Who remembers SMEP? Who's seen me speak before? Remember SMEP? You remember SMEP, Rebecca. Yeah, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. Now, I always got to start off my talks, and I don't want to belabor this point because we're going to spend a lot of time talking physical, but it's very important to recognize that health, or the lack thereof, health or disease or illness, manifests itself, or shows itself most obviously physically, but it begins at higher levels, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I shouldn't say it begins, I should say it involves emotions, mental, and spirituality. So you got to recognize that in order to be fully healthy, it's much more than being healthy physically. You've got to approach your body, the physical body, as an emotional body, and that is emotions of hate, emotions of anger, emotions of rage, emotions of jealousy will manifest themselves as a physical body of illness. And that is via the actions of hormones. This is not some kind of new age gobbledygook. This is strictly biochemistry. When we have hormones of anger, we have emotions of anger, we produce hormones of anger. And that produces hormones of a body of fear, a body of anger, or a diseased body. In fact, even the word disease tells you this, dis-ease, out of ease. So you've got to address the emotional components of health. You've got to address the the mental components of health as well. So mental and emotional are actually two sides of the same coin. Thoughts and feelings get turned into hormones, which get turned into a physical body. Now, if you want to make it really simple, there's only two emotions, and there's only two kinds of thinking. There's thinking of fear, and there's thinking of love. And this manifests itself in the hormones and then in the nervous system. In fact, you have two kinds of nervous systems. The nervous system is how we see the outside, is an electrical system that turns the outside world into the inside world. And it has outposts. We call those outposts of the nervous system that interpret the outside world, all the things we see out here, and all the things we smell out here, and all the things we touch out here, and all the things we taste out here, and all the things we hear out here are turned into our body through something called the what? Starts with an S. The senses, right? You got 5 senses. And the 5 senses are connected to the nervous system, and the 5 senses are responsible for taking the visions, and the sounds, and the smells, and the touches, and the tastes, and turning them into our bodies. Does that make sense? You guys get this? That's what the nervous system does. It takes the outside world through the sights we see and the sounds we hear. That reminds me to turn my phone off. And we takes the sounds we hear, takes the outside world, and turns it into the inside world. But this is where it gets really interesting. The outside world is turned into the inside world. Does that make sense when I say the outside world is turned into the inside world? Through the senses and then channeled into 2 nervous systems. You don't have one nervous system, you have 2 nervous systems. You have a nervous system of danger that's designed to get you out of a pickle. From an evolutionary standpoint, it's designed to get you away from a lion. That's basically where it evolved from. Or it's designed to allow you to build and to grow and repair. It's a survival nervous system and a thrival nervous system. Now, I don't call it the survival nervous system and the thrival nervous system technically. Anybody know what it's called technically?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight is what it does, but what's it called technically? There you go. How'd you guys know that? That's very good. It's called, see, I'm telling you this is because when I talk about love and fear, it's easy to go, oh, he's from Boulder, Colorado. He's a hippie, you know. No, this is the way the nervous system is constructed. It's constructed so that we see the world as a world of danger, or we see the world as a world of safety. Albert Einstein said, if I get to talk to God, I'm going to ask him one thing. I'm going to ask him, is the universe a friendly place? And we're all asking ourselves that. Even as I walked into this room, you're asking, is this guy safe or is he not safe? Every time we see a stranger, we're asking that question. Every time we go out the door, we're asking that question, and it gets turned into our bodies. Why is this important? Because all health challenges, all of them, are underneath the manifestation of an excessive amount of survival, an excessive amount of sympathetic nervous system activation. The sympathetic nervous system overrides. Now, the nervous system, the danger nervous system is very important. It gets you out of a jam.